Patches learns a lesson. Patches, said Mama Cat to her youngest kitten, tell me again the 3 most important things you must remember when going outside to play. Patches stopped licking the fur on her leg and turned towards her mom. I remember, Mommy, she said. I won't leave the yard, I won't go near the pond, and most of all, I won't go near the dog. I promise. Okay then, her mom said, but make sure you're home before it gets dark. Patches was so excited. This was the first time her mom had allowed her to go out alone to play. She ran out into the yard and looked around. It was so big. There was grass and bushes and trees. She could see the house she'd just left, the pond and a large doghouse in the far corner. And through the fence she could see the street and the sidewalk with all the beautiful flowers planted alongside it. She spent the next few minutes wandering around the yard just looking at everything. What attracted her most were the big, beautiful flowers on the other side of the fence. She'd never seen anything like them. She walked over to the chain-link fence to get a closer look. Sniffing deeply, she could smell the sweetness emanating from them, particularly from the bright red roses. Then, as Patches looked around the yard, trying to decide what to investigate next, she heard noises coming from inside the doghouse. A moment later, she backed up against the fence as she saw a large dog emerge. Remembering her mother's admonition to stay away from the dog, she quickly ran behind the nearest tree and hid there, her whole body shaking. As she was about to peek around the tree to see where the dog was now, Patches was startled as something live brushed up against her. Shaking even more than a moment ago, she slowly turned her head and with a sigh of relief saw that it wasn't the dog. It was another kitten. "Hi," said the newcomer. "My name is Bella." Instead of answering, Patches, still in a panic, blurted out, "The dog! The dog! We have to hide from the dog!" That's when Bella told her that they didn't have to worry about the dog because it was on a chain and couldn't roam far from the doghouse. Patches and Bella spent the rest of the afternoon just walking around the yard, keeping their distance from the dog and playing together. Frequently, Patches would find herself at the fence studying the flowers just on the other side of it. Finally, when the sun started to go down, Patches told Bella that she'd promised her mom she'd be home before dark, so she left Bella and returned to the house. The next day, Patches couldn't wait to go back out and play. She hoped that she would find Bella again so they could spend the afternoon together, and sure enough, she found Bella at the edge of the pond, looking at the goldfish that were swimming around in it. "Hi, Bella," Patches said. "What are you doing by the pond?" Bella replied that she was watching the goldfish and invited Patches to join her. "Wow," Patches whispered when she got there. "They're beautiful." Curious as she was about the fish, she told Bella, "No, I can't stay here. I promised my mom that I wouldn't go near the pond." From there, Patches ran to the fence to look again at the beautiful flowers. Looking down at the ground, she spotted a hole under the fence, dug deep enough that she could fit through it and get to the other side where the flowers grew. Scrambling under the fence and out onto the sidewalk, Patches approached the flowers and began drawing in their strange, sweet smells. A few minutes later, Bella came to the fence and called out to Patches, asking if she shouldn't get back in the yard. After all, both their moms had warned them against leaving the safety of the fenced-in yard. But Patches ignored Bella and went on touching her nose to the soft flower petals and sniffing in their wonderful aroma. As she stood there, sniffing the flowers, all her attention glued to them, a boy on his bicycle was coming down the hill, going way too fast. He hit a rock on the sidewalk, fell off his bike, and the bicycle itself rolled on, crashing into Patches as she tried desperately to scramble out of its way. The last thing Patches ever heard was Bella's frantic warning for her to get out of the way of the oncoming bicycle. Even though Patches knew she wasn't supposed to leave the yard, she just couldn't help herself from getting to those flowers. And that is how, in fact, curiosity killed the cat. But, as we all know, cats have 9 lives, so Patches lived to play another day, but she was much, much wiser now.